Hey loves, how are you? Happy New Year! I know it's been a minute and I apologize for it, but I'm back for sure. And I was just preparing myself to bring you more structured and interesting content. So I hope you enjoy and let's get right into it. I'm now using my measuring tape to measure my waist and hip circumference, as well as you'll see there. That's why I use the elastic to get the right waist and hip length, as you can see here. And then I also measure the length desired for my skirt. And this measurement is to know how wide the bottom of my skirt should be. So I get that. So my waist measurement is 31 inches, my hip 41, my waist to hip length 8.5, and the length of my skirt 21 inches. The 32.5 inches is the circumference of the bottom of my skirt. So now I'm just dividing my waist, hip, and the circumference of the bottom of my skirt's measurement by 4. I'm going to start on my pattern paper now by drawing a straight horizontal and vertical line. Now I take my waist measurement that I divided by 4 and I'm going to mark it down on the first horizontal line that I drew on my pattern plus 1 inch of seam. Next, going to the waist to hip measurement, I'm going to take that 1.5 inches and on the vertical line I'm going to mark that down, and from that point I marked, I'm going to trace a straight line. So now I'm going to use my hip measurement, which is 10.25, and I'm going to mark that down on the second vertical line, no, horizontal line, yes, as shown, and I'm going to mark that down with 1 inch of seam allowance. Next, the length of the skirt, so I'm just measuring on the vertical line to make sure that I get the length of my skirt, and that when I mark there, I'm going to make a straight line from there too. Having done that, I'm going to take the measurement for the bottom of my skirt circumference, which is 8.125 plus the 1 inch of seam allowance, and I'm going to mark those 2 points down. So after putting all our measurements down, we're now going to trace the lines to join all those points we've marked. And for the line, for the waist to hip line, I'm going to use my curve ruler to draw that as shown, and I'm going to do the same on the 1 inch seam allowance, and this with a different color marker so that we can see the difference between the seam allowance and the original line. And for the for the hip to the bottom of the skirt, I'm just going to draw a straight line because I'm not that curvy to use my curve ruler for that. So love, this is really all you need to know about a basic skirts pattern. To draw the dots, I will have to take out half an inch from my skirt piece and push the original line half an inch on the right, because I need to make allowance for the dots that I'm going to trace. So now I'm just marking the half an inch point so that I can move my original line. In order to know exactly where your dot should be on your pattern, you need to know your nipple to nipple measurement. Mine is 10 inches and I will divide it by 2, which will give me 5 inches. Now I will measure those 5 inches on my waist. As shown, I marked the 5 inches, and now to draw my dot I'll only need half an inch to draw the whole dot, because I only took out half an inch from the line, from the original line. So also on the hip line I do the same, and as you can see, those points make half an inch. And now for the front pattern of the skirt, you only need to take 2 inches up, and that is where your dot should end. It's time to link the points together, starting from the middle point, which I traced till the end of where the dot should end, and those 2 points on the side I'm going to make like a triangular shape. So this is our dot done, and keep in mind that the half an inch we took out is the half an inch we used for the dot, so it should be exactly the same. So now for the abdomen, of course, still for the front piece, I'm going to take out 1 inch down from the waistline as shown. This point will have to be linked to the original line of the pattern, just as shown. And bear in mind that this is optional, you don't need to do that. Some can go down by half an inch, which I'll show you now the difference we're using and half an inch line for the abdomen, or a 1 inch. It depends on you, it depends on your shape, but I can say it's quite important if you really want the skirt to fit properly. So we're done with our front pattern piece of our skirt. I'm just making the knots there, not to get confused when I get the back piece, and that it should be cut and fold. So I'm just cutting the pattern now, and this is what it looks like when I'm done. So this is our skirt pattern using these measurements, which are mine. Please, I just want to say the abdomen line, which is linked to the original line, is for the basic pattern. If you want the abdomen line for the pattern with the dot, it should get up to the second line that we drew with and half an inch seam allowance. So to get it right, I'm just going to put marks on my pattern piece. So the first original line is the line without the dot, so you use it if you're making your basic skirts pattern without the line. And the second one I was pointing now is the original line with the dot. And as I said, the abdomen line that is there is the abdomen line without the dot. Time for the back pattern piece of our skirt. So I do the same. I draw a straight horizontal and vertical line on the pattern paper, and from the vertical line that I drew, I'm going to take out 1 inch, and that will be the seam allowance for my zip. Now I place my front pattern piece on top of the back pattern paper, and as you can see, I just line the middle of my skirt. That line that should be cut and fold, I line that with the 1 inch seam allowance I have traced for my zip, and I'm just going to pin them together and then draw the right shape for my skirt. That will help me with my back piece. Don't forget to cut that extra you have on the side. This is it, and now I just want to make a notch on the hip line to know where it stands exactly for my back piece. With the notch I've made, I can now trace my hip line. I've already marked my dot lines, and now for the back piece you only need to go up by 1 inch, and that will be the end of your dot. So I'm going to do the same thing, draw a triangular shape for the dot. So this is our back pattern piece done. I'm just marking that on my pattern paper, and we should cut 2 of these. This is all for this skirt pattern drafting, and I hope it was informative and you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.